Okay, 8th grade, on the lesson, the final closure of density. So we're going to make a density tower out of a variety of different liquids. All things being good, they should separate out and you should be able to see the different layers as we go up. We're going to start on the bottom with which is the most heavy or the most dense, and that's honey. So into here, I'm going to pour honey, and this is probably slow, so I'll go this way. Pour honey down there. Okay, so the bottom layer is honey, and next I'm going to add corn syrup, which you should be able to see on top of it because corn syrup is clear. So I'm going to pour the corn syrup down and see if the corn syrup will float on top of the honey. Corn syrup is pretty old and pretty thick, so it's a mystery on if this will work. That is thick. Pouring. And we should be getting a clear layer on top of the brown layer. I'm going to let that be for a minute and see if it can rise up to the top. So I definitely see darker brown on the bottom and a lighter color, a lighter brown above that. On top of that goes maple syrup because that's the next in density. So this is a little bit lighter than the corn syrup. This should float on top of the corn syrup. We should be able to get a brown layer here. These colors are all close to each other, so it's pretty hard to tell. We also aren't giving it a tremendous amount of time to level out, but I definitely see dark brown on the bottom, a little bit lighter in the middle, and dark brown on top. To that, the next thing I'm going to add, now this is really soap. This is Ivory for Dishes, and it's clear. So let's see if we can get a clear layer to float on top of that. And if you can see, I'm pouring it very slowly, so it takes a while, but I want to get a good amount. So we can see some distinct layers. Okay, so now let me look at that. So I definitely see a layer floating up on top. We're making steady progress. The next is water, so now we're going to be at the density of 1. Everything below that has a greater density. This is hard because the water is going to make the soap want to bubble. But I am going to see if I can get them to not mix. Okay, so now I see a green layer floating on top, and that has pushed the soap down, so the soap is a little bit thinner. Not sure what I'm going to do about the foam, but I'm going to move forward. The next thing is oil, so I'm going to add some oil on top of that, and we'll all together see what happens with the foam. Now let's see if we can get that oil to come up on top, to rise back up above the foam. I might have to take the foam out, but I'm not, I see, I did the, let's see if we can get that. That looks like it's mixed it all in. I don't know what I can do about the foam, and I also don't think I have a spoon long enough to go down and take it out, but we're going to move forward. So the next I'm going to put on is alcohol, and that's even lighter. I see it, but it's in the foam. I'm going to pour more. Let's see if we can get rid of that foam. Make it be a really big layer. Okay, now let's wait a minute and let that settle. Let me turn this, because now the foam is going away. I'm seeing a lighter level form up on top, darker green on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that with the cell phone yet, but eventually I see it coming more and more. It just needs time to settle. So I'm gonna add a little more. See if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now I can definitely see it. So do you see that clear up on top? That clear up on top? That's the alcohol. Now I'm going to trickle this on. This is torch fuel, and this has the least density. So that's even the lightest. Okay, I think that's good. So now you can definitely see how that is floating on top. And if we gave it all time to settle, you would start to see the divisions even clearer because they will fall back into their places. And then I thought, what if we put some solids in there to see where the solids landed in the tower of density? So I took something that I thought was pretty heavy, and that is a little hex nut. We'll drop that down. We watch to see if the hex nut goes all the way through or it gets suspended along the way. All right, can't see the hex nut, but that's okay. We'll try something else. How about if we try a dice? Let's see where the dice lands. Ooh, so that dice is sitting resting right on the maple syrup and not going down to the bottom. My guess is, I don't think you can see it, but the hex nut is down at the bottom. Then I thought, let's try a bead. So then, there's a red bead that I dropped down. I see it floating, and now I can see the bead in the green. I'm going to see if I can make, get another bead, and maybe you'll be able to see that one. So let's drop, I don't know, I'm going to try a green one. Do you see it's floating? And then it lands right there, and it just sinks. So here, I'll turn this around so you can see the bead. There it is. So the density of the bead is above the density of the syrup. And then these are really tiny, so we'll see how these work. These are kernels of popcorn. And you can see that the kernels of popcorn sit there. So now I'm going to spin this, and you'll get to see the dice. Okay, and then for a topper, I thought, well, let's just try a ping pong ball and see what happens to it. Oh my gosh, it floats up on top. So that's lighter. That's even lighter than the torch fuel. And going down to the bottom are all more dense, and you can now really see more divisions. And I'm just going to let this sit. And maybe here's a picture, a really good picture of right there are the popcorn kernels. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. And there'll be some questions and a worksheet on this soon. Take care and have a great day.